Is this thing on? Hello, friends. It's been so long. The last time I posted a longer video on YouTube was after Chicago Marathon, before I got up to some things in November. So that was 7 months ago. 7 freaking months ago. And I just want to shout out to all my YouTube people who be doing this every week. Y'all are some real ones, because when my life picks up steam, I have a hard time dialing in, especially in new spaces that I'm exploring. So what's up, everyone? My name is Kayla Jeter. Welcome to my channel. For those of you who are new, and either way, I feel like a reintroduction is totally necessary. I am a Chicago-based athlete, content or digital creator, how I like to title myself, a wellness strategist. I'm also an athlete mental health coach. And I'm just a girl who likes to yap and considers herself a professional busybody. I really struggle introducing myself because I do a lot of things, and I think I'm so much more than things that I do. I like to better introduce myself into all the places I show up in the world as a daughter, a sister, a griever, a community builder, a space holder, a mover, and just, your 35-year-old internet sis who knows nothing but has learned a lot of things in life. Since it's been a while since we chatted, I think we're going to use this time really just to catch up so I can close the gap from where we last chatted in November to where we are now. I'm not going to be chatting the entire time. I have so many clips and photos and videos to share that I think can better tell the story. But I took a few notes as to what we should get into today. So be sure to like, comment, subscribe, share. And I'm going to say comment again, because I really love when y'all ask me questions, especially being someone who's in the run space as a Black woman. There's not many of us out here in the YouTube space, on the social space. And I really, really appreciate and hear y'all when you're asking for more diversity and representation in this space. And I think that also goes beyond running into wellness in general. So I made a few notes. We're just going to catch up. So wherever you are, if you're driving, settle into your seat. If you're going on a walk, listen in. If you're cleaning or whatever, don't feel like you just sit and watch me. Just listen to the sound of my voice, because I'm going to be yapping for a bit. Let's talk about where we ended. Where we ended 2024. After Chicago Marathon, my body definitely needed a break. So I stopped running. Not for incredibly too long, but I took some time off just to be with family before the training cycle continued. So Chicago Marathon was kind of a last stop of 2024 races in the lead up to a spring 2025 race. So after Chicago Marathon, I just, like I said, got to spend some time with family. I went down to every women's marathon. It was the inaugural race, a women's only centered marathon that was in Savannah, Georgia. 7,000 women signed up for this marathon. And I had the absolute privilege of going down with Gail and Team Milk to celebrate a really beautiful space of women coming together, supporting each other, 40% of which were first-time marathoners. And I don't know the exact age demographic, but it definitely skewed older, which was really incredible to see, just in knowing that all these women carved out time for themselves, which, as a woman myself who wears many hats and juggles many things, when it comes to marathon training in particular, I think one of the biggest hurdles is having the time, finding the time, making the time. So I squeezed so many beautiful humans. We shared some stories. We cheered each other on, and I'm psyched. Y'all are the first to know. I am psyched to be going down back again to every women's marathon, this time in Scottsdale, Arizona on November 16th as a cheerleader. I was supposed to run last year, but my knee flare-up happened, which we'll come back to. And I really appreciate the Team Milk team and everyone there supporting me and encouraging me not to do the thing that would hurt me long-term, to run as long as I felt comfortable, which for me was 10K, and then pull out and cheer. And I had the best freaking time. So went to every women's marathon down in Savannah. And then after that, went to San Francisco to celebrate Thanksgiving with my sisters. Love San Francisco, love Bay Area, love Napa. If I had a job or an opportunity that paid enough for me to live in San Francisco, I would live in San Francisco, either near or in the Mission or Dolores Park. So all my tech, health tech, wellness tech people out there, if you're hiring someone or looking to hire someone in the wellness space, whether that has helped to get your company more wellness oriented, how do you instill better lifestyle habits, wellness lifestyle habits within your business, or looking to bring out anyone to lead a run or a wellness centered conversation, I'm your girl because I love San Francisco. Went out there, top of December, I was invited to the Democracy Forum. So I attended the luncheon specifically with President Obama and the Girls Opportunity Alliance, which is an organization that was founded by Michelle Obama during the administration and continues to support young women and girls in so many ways, I think, to empower them educationally, physically, resources worldwide. So attended Democracy Forum and wow. First of all, I slayed the outfit. Shout out to Veronica Beard. My first matching set from you was a winner. I felt like I was on the hill for the team. Loved my outfit, and being in those spaces around people who are really living a mission-driven life just lights me up in so many ways and really helps center me back into the lane that I'm trying to figure out what exactly it is because I have so many passions and interests. After that, I popped over to LA, had a really cool opportunity to film with Apple Fitness Plus for a collaboration they're doing with Strava. If you're a subscriber within Strava, you get access to Fitness Plus. And I did a workout with Sharika and Daryl from the Fitness Plus team. We did a really cute, cool, fun 20-minute workout, whether you're running, jogging, or walking. Definitely check it out. Let me know what you think. And then it was Christmas time. Christmas is one of those holidays. I think the season entirely is challenging for me. My parents have both passed away. My dad in 2016 from a heart attack, my mom in 2019 from cancer. And the holiday times just remind me that I don't have them. I don't have the opportunity to create new memories with them. And reflecting even back on the holidays that I shared with them weren't the best. Family quarrels definitely were common in my household. So the holiday season just stirs a lot of feelings for me, which is when I actually started to pull away a little bit from YouTube just to take some time to process my feelings and take space for what I needed to heal and get through. But I think beyond that, the biggest thing I also felt really called to do was create a resource for other people who find the holiday season challenging. Maybe it's not grief. Maybe it's just being around family. Maybe it's a gap in your life you wish was happening or that you had during that time. Maybe it's just you're reminded how lonely you are. The holiday would stir up a lot of things. So I created this 4-week resource called Self-Care for the Seasons, inviting people just to come and tap into how they feel, give themselves what they need and where they can provide support. So that's when I really transitioned a lot of my energy and focused away from YouTube, actually was creating this resource. And I'm really, really proud of it. If you are interested in checking it out, the colors in the front page are holiday themed, but you really can use it at any season of the year because I think as seasons come and go, like Mother's Day just passed, of which I realized I am not only unmarried, but I also am not pregnant. I saw so many bellies on my timeline this Mother's Day, which was so beautiful. Seasons bring up different feelings. And with that, we always need a reminder that it's okay to feel what we feel and then moving through them and identifying what we need to take care of ourselves. So I'll leave that in the description section if you want to check that out. It's a mix of a workbook and audio. So again, you just listen to whenever you want. And that was the end of 2024. New Year's, I didn't do very much. I stayed here in Chicago, just kept it super chill after such a exciting, traveling, eventful, just celebratory, exhausting, if I'm being honest, year. Whether that was from running or just work, networking, opportunities. I was really looking forward to just sitting at home and ringing in the new year here in Chicago with my sisters, with our friends, waking up January 1st, just in my apartment, in my bed, going to work out as I always do, starting the new year, just fresh, rested, and feeling really centered in where I was at that time. So 2024 was a year for the books. And I'm really looking forward to all 2025 continues to bring. So let's talk about 2025. I turned 35 this year, which feels like a really defining year, not in a sense I need to have it all figured out or I'm making a huge stake in the ground or a claim for anything really big, but I just feel very comfortable with who I am and the spaces that I'm in. And that's a really fun feeling, you know? Being someone who feels like they've had to shapeshift in a lot of environments, especially growing up in a predominantly white environment in Cleveland, Ohio. The suburb specifically that I was in was Solon. I was one of a handful of Black girls. I grew up playing a predominantly white sport, that being volleyball, which has since gotten so much more diverse. Um, I, it's nice to feel comfortable in my own skin for so many reasons, not only the way I look, I feel, but the vision I have for myself, which again, I'm still very much figuring out. So I turned 35 this year, and so far, 35 has been freaking epic. I attended the League One volleyball inaugural match down in Atlanta, which is a women's only volleyball league. The first league, I think, of its kind that's really not only invested in the longevity of careers for professional volleyball players here in the US, but is actually designed, backed, and directed by former players as well. So very player supported centric, not only in their competition season, but also what is the pipeline from youth sports to professional sports, which is a very European model. You see a lot of these clubs that exist in Europe, like the one that I played with when I played overseas, is that you have the pro team or the elite team that competes in this league that's professional or international. And then you have these tiers or clubs underneath. And then it creates this really smooth, nice pipeline, I think, for player development and community building. So got to attend that. I did my second photo shoot with Lululemon down in San Diego with my girl Montana from Further for the new Go Further bra, which is a bra that we helped design last year for the Further feet and is now a product available at Lululemon stores. Specifically, we wore it for running just because it's designed for a higher impact, has a little bit more compression, cushion in the shoulders and the underband, but you can wear it if you're doing a high intensity workout, if you're lifting, if you want a fit that's a little bit more secure but still comfortable. Go check out the Go Further bra. And then January got interesting for us all. The tragedy that just struck the West Coast amongst everything happening globally. Had a lot of family and friends who were not directly impacted, but in the area in LA, a lot of shifts, a lot of uprooting, a lot of loss on that side of the world. And then personally, one of my really good friends, one of my best friends, her husband unexpectedly passed away. And I had to fly to Ghana for the first time to go to his funeral, which first time to Ghana, did not anticipate it being for a funeral. First time to Ghana and it being my best friend, I was ready to get up and go, y'all. I was like, when do you need me there? As soon as I got the call, when do you need me? I'm boarding a flight, no questions asked. She obviously was handling a lot during that time, so I worked a lot with her sister to get there. It was a surprise that I was coming so quickly. She did not anticipate me to come, but I'm like, listen, you were there when my dad passed away, when my mom passed away. Girl, we've been through life together. This is your person. This is your husband. You literally just got married in September. I am there. I am there. However, I don't want to say it's very American of me, but I think it's just novice traveler to me, especially someone going to Africa and certain parts of Africa. I've only been to Morocco. That's the only African country I've been to. You need a couple more things to get to Ghana. So before I could just hop on a little plane, I went and got my vaccines. So my yellow fever, I went and got malaria. I got all the proper, my visa, all the necessary paperwork you need to literally enter the country. Had to get that tackled. So I went down to Ghana, circumstances aside, had a really beautiful time just being with her family, her friends. I think, I envision, or we envisioned my first time being in Ghana, being with her and her husband, getting to explore and see where she grew up and see all their favorite places, which we're going to do another time. But this trip was very much centered around supporting my bestie, my girl, and making sure that she felt supported during such a tragic, tragic loss. So, in that also spending time with her family, which was super special. So went to Ghana and then rolling out of January into February, February, I think was a little bit more chill. I was at home a lot more. I trained, didn't do too much. I think that's what happened in February. Nothing is standing out because once we got into March, things picked back up. Your girl is signed to an agency. And it's a big deal for me. Not necessarily when people sign to agencies, I think the first thing that goes up for them is like, I'm going to have so much more exposure and opportunities that come through this agency. Yes. The agency that I signed with in particular is part of a larger agency. So there's a lot of networking connections, just opportunities within that. But even more than that, so to work with a team that understands me as a multifaceted human, as a woman of color, as a former athlete, that being always alpha, which is a first of its kind, women's only agency, working with athletes, broadcasters, personalities like myself, just like industry leaders and change makers in an impactful way, founded by Felix and Cosette Chatput. And my agent, or my manager, I suppose you could say, Jordan, is a boss, and I love her down bad. She just gets me. So to be able to sign with an agency, the opportunity just to have, just a team again, people who can go to bat for me and do the work that really drains me as far as contract negotiations. Because up to this point, I've been doing it all. I have been fielding the emails, hopping on the briefings, negotiating contracts, following up on deliverables, invoicing, just all of it. And that's not because I think I can do it all by myself. I just have done it by myself for so long. And the assumption has been up until this point that I have representation. So it's been really helpful to have a team there to work together. And I announced my signing to the agency attending the celebration for International Women's Day and Women's Sports Day in particular in New York City, ringing the closing bell of the New York Stock Exchange, NASDAQ, with Always Alpha. And wow, wow, wow. Very, very cool. Very, very fun. And then the next day, I had the best Saturday with Lululemon. I moderated my first panel with them for International Women's Day in the Glow Up space. If you have not checked out the Glow Out Tight, I highly recommend. Keep you snatched, keep you ready. And if you attended those 2 weeks of workouts in New York City for the pop-up, she was so beautiful. So the panel, like I said, was for International Women's Day, and the theme was celebrating female founders, being fearless, never holding back. I was in conversation with Kristen Sudeikis, who's the founder of Forward Space, Melissa Benichet, who's the founder of Baked by Melissa, and Kwebe Koti, who's the founder of the Bushwick Film Festival. And we had a time. Not only myself and these incredible women that we were in conversation with, but everyone was there. I felt like a girls' night, and I loved it so, so much. So March was off to a really, really cute start. From there, let's see what else happened. March rolled through, was at home. I feel like there's some travel in between there. And then, I went to LA. Y'all. I went to LA to run the LA Marathon. Who I could have never imagined. I could have not imagined, dreamed. I would have never even thought. If you were to ask me 4 years ago, not only in March 2025, you would have told me you're going to run a marathon, but you're going to run a marathon as a training run. I understand most of the internet now knows me as a runner. Based off the content I share, social media wasn't really around. Not even really. Social media wasn't around to the extent that it is now when I played volleyball. So no one really knows the volleyball era, and my lifting mommy, my muscle mommy self is not as forward as she once upon a time. So most people know me as a runner. They don't really know that I come from a volleyball background. So if you were to tell me 4 years ago that you're going to run a marathon, the LA Marathon in 2025 as a training run, just for, tweedly-dee, tweedly-da, I would have giggled at you. I would have said, no way. And I would have said, you're out of your freaking mind. Well, that's what I did. I went to LA for LA Marathon weekend, where I was on a panel with Apple for Fitness Plus, sharing my experience as an ultra runner and my hopes and dreams for women in the running space going forward. I then hosted a panel with Long Distance and Renegade for their marathon pop-up, talking to run crew and run club leaders in LA. And then I ran the LA Marathon, where I freaking cooked it. I felt so strong. I have not ran a race, 26.2 miles specifically, consistently, nonstop, since 2023 in New York City. And it's the strongest I've felt in a long time, especially coming off of a year like 2024, where I did my first multi-day ultra marathon. I ran for 6 days, 232 miles, 370 kilometers. And then I ran the Paris Marathon around the Paris Olympics. And then I did Chicago Marathon. And those last two marathons in particular were a fight. They were so challenging physically. And I think because I was so fatigued mentally and then cellularly, the fatigue made sense. So going into LA, I told myself, let's go have fun. Let's just take our time with it. This is part of a larger training run, a race leading up to Two Oceans, which is an ultra marathon in Cape Town, South Africa, 35 miles, 56 kilometers, where time on feet is a success, is a win. So my plan going into LA Marathon was just to take your time. Like if it takes you 5 hours, it takes you 5 hours. Honestly, the longer you're out there, the better. Like don't rush through it. But race day morning was just freaking epic. It was so cool. I had so much fun. 20,000 people running the marathon, of which I think 70%, I might be skewing this stat entirely, but it's something around there. The majority of people that were running the LA Marathon this year were first timers. And you could feel the energy, I think after such a catastrophic start to the year, the way LA came out and supported each other and cheered for each other was really sentimental and special and connected in a way that perhaps other years had just been different. So I ran LA Marathon, had so much fun. And then about 2 weeks later, y'all, dude, I keep locking this. It was time for me to go to South Africa. And on that note, I'm gonna take a little coffee sip. Okay, so remember how I said that if you were to tell me 4 years ago that in March of 2025, you ran a marathon, and not only did you run a marathon, but you're running as a training run for an ultra marathon, I would have been like, who? Not I. What's even funnier about the ultra marathon that I ran is that 3 years ago, before I even ran a marathon, I found out about Two Oceans ultra marathon somehow. I really don't know where or when or how. I'm probably going to guess just by scrolling and seeing beautiful landscapes. And for me, running definitely is a way to explore my environment more than it is about racing. But I came across Two Oceans and I was like, bucket list race. I want to run this ultra marathon. I want to run this race in Cape Town, South Africa. I couldn't even conceptualize what an ultra marathon was. And so a couple months ago, one of my really good friends, Quentin from Toronto, who's the founder of Escape and does a lot of nonprofit work in Toronto and different communities, reached out and said, hey, we're doing this thing. We do Escape, which essentially what they do is they run from Toronto to the cities of world major marathons. And they also did for the Olympics, fundraising for whether it's to build a school or give back to community or provide resources. And they do it relay style, ultra relay style, nonstop. We start in one city, we end in the next. And then once we get to that city, we run the actual race that's happening there. He's like, we're doing it again. He planted this seed in my mind last year. And I was like, yeah, that sounds sick. So time has come. It's time to go to Cape Town. It's time to come to South Africa. We are running from Port Elizabeth to Cape Town. We're stopping in Mitchell's Plain. And the hope is once we get to this school, with all the funds that we've raised, we will build an athletics field on the school's campus. So track, field in the middle, have a space where the youth, the community can come and not only develop themselves athletically, but also have experiences and events around as well. So myself and 24, I believe, other individuals from all over the world were invited to be part of this experience. It's definitely not like an invite only, but it's not like a thing. It's not a TSP. It's not a hood to coast. It's not a southbound. It's not something that's commercialized or super out there. It's individuals who are very passionate about mission-driven work, empowering and bettering communities, who are connected and know each other through their run space over the years, and just want to vibe out and have fun and like run, you know what I mean? And no pace involved. Take our time, get there safe to South Africa for this run. So we fly down to South Africa, like on a Thursday. We all arrive Friday, and then we go on Saturday to Port Elizabeth, which is 590 miles away from Cape Town, where we first landed. And the goal is to run from Port Elizabeth to Cape Town, arrive by Thursday. We'll do the experience and presentation and celebration with the school on Thursday. Friday, take a beat, run 2 oceans, this ultra marathon on Saturday. So we started at like 7 p.m. on Sunday. The 24 of us, including content team, we had 3 vans. I slept in a 9-person passenger van. We slept with windows and doors locked up, closed, all the things, not knowing where we were. Had the most beautiful run, had so much fun, made so many memories, got safely to Cape Town, and then ran 2 oceans ultra marathon that Saturday, starting at 5 o'clock in the morning. It took me just over 6 hours to run 35 miles over 2,000 feet of elevation. And it was the most incredible freaking race of my life. If y'all want to watch the like really ad hoc content that I got from that trip, just let me know in the comments and I'll patch it together and you guys can watch it. So, that is what my March looked like, was just a lot of running, a lot of fun times, a lot of being brought back to like what running means to me. And so once I got done with that race, that was the end of my racing season for 2025. It's been a nonstop training cycle, spring and fall races for me for the past 3 years. From speed project to my first marathon to 2 more marathons to my first ultra to 2 more marathons to a marathon training run to an ultra. It's been a lot, and my body definitely broke down over that time. And I really started to see the expression of that right before Chicago Marathon, which y'all know, if you haven't watched that video, definitely check it out, because a week before Chicago Marathon, I couldn't walk. I didn't know if I'd even make it to the start line. And my body has since really definitely had a hard time recovering. I've had a lot of weaknesses flare up, whether it's my ankle, my knee, my hip, going through just physically challenging in feeling strong again. So what's next for me as far as running is taking a summer off of racing. I'm not going to be in a training block. I will not have long runs on the weekend past like 3 hours. I won't be getting into any like crazy builds or tapers. The goal this summer really is to rebuild strength, specifically in my right leg, because I've had a knee issue that's been lingering and flaring up and recovering for the past year. And a couple weeks ago became a major issue for me with inflammation, with swelling, with walking in general, with natural gait. So really addressing where the weakness is and the gaps have started to really show and build strength and stability above and below the joint. So working on that, having fun this summer, running in more social groups, social clubs, a lot of stuff with 100 miles of summer. We kicked off May 1st, walk, jog, run 100 miles from May 1st to August 31st. You can join at 100milesummer.com. The goal is simple, just log 100 miles in a way that sees fit for you by any miles necessary. So having fun with more pop-ups here in Chicago. My sisters are training for their first half marathon, so I will be their coach and training with them. And y'all, just having fun this summer, just returning to play, just letting things slide and fly and not being so serious or dialed in. And I'm really needing that, just inviting more play. So we're going to have a fun time this summer. I'm committed to posting, if not weekly, bi-weekly here on YouTube, because there's a quote that I read recently that stirred something in me for real, that really, really made me think about what it means to leave your digital footprint in a way that is beyond like trends and brand partnerships, but like as proof that we're here. And the quote is, document your life very well, write down your feelings, take pictures of the things that moved you, archive yourself. Let them know you were here, that you existed, that you lived, despite it all. I'll see you next time.